What's up, everyone? I'm back for the second part of my review of the 6th episode of Season 4 of Game of Thrones. And now, on to Daenerys. Now, this section was very interesting to me. Since he began taking over all these cities, everything's been going so perfect for her, but I kept thinking in my head, something has to go wrong, or something has to happen that's going to disrupt her operations. And last week, with the whole crucifying scene, when she crucified all the masters, I understand that it was justice, and I could see why she did it. But at the same time, I thought it was slightly vicious. Because I was thinking to myself, some of these masters may have not agreed with crucifying the children. And, as we see in this episode, I was right. But before we get to that, I have to mention the scene with the dragon. The dragon looks awesome. I'm not sure what the name is, it's the Black Dragon. And it looked awesome. And it's looking more terrifying and, again, awesome every time we see it. And we just see it burn some sheep, and, well, not much else happens, but it's a way to connect us into this scene where Daenerys is talking to his sheep herder. But that's not the part I want to talk about. It's the next part when a noble lord comes in, and at first you're like, oh god, this guy's just going to be an asshole, isn't he? But it turns out he's a genuinely nice guy. He seems like he's not too bad. And he's talking about how he wants to respect traditions and give his father a proper burial. But the thing is, his father is one of the masters that Daenerys crucified. And this leads into an interesting conversation about what is just. And I was not expecting a noble lord to be telling Daenerys about justice. And you could tell, you could see that there was that Daenerys was conflicted, because she was not expecting for a noble lord to be giving her this abuse. And you can see it from his side, and you can see it from both their sides. And this is the first time that someone has legitimately questioned Daenerys' decision. Besides Barrister Selmy, when she was taking over Marine. But besides that, this is the first time someone has just said outright that you may be wrong. And it was a very tense scene, because I was like, was Daenerys going to do something to him? And it was just getting more tense, and it was building up. But then, as we come to a close, the noble said that they came to an agreement that Daenerys would let him bury his father. But it brought up a lot of interesting premises in my head where it's going to go. Because I keep thinking Daenerys is going to turn bad. Well, not turn bad, but I think she's going to become a bit more ruthless as time goes on. And there's little hints, especially in this episode, there was little hints that Daenerys is going to go that way. And I don't know, it's just the more episodes that go on showing her, the more it seems more and more likely that it's going to happen. And then after that, we have a brief, well, it's in the same scene, but Daenerys asks how many more are left to talk to her, and I think Jorah says 212, I believe it was her assistant, I'm not sure what her name is. It's the other girl who's always with her, and she says 212, and you can tell Daenerys is like, 212? You can tell she's not used to it, and it's like it gives you a glimpse of that she may not be fully ready for a leadership role. That this is why, if she was Queen of Westeros, she would have to do the same thing, and it really gives you an interesting insight on where can she actually be the ruler that everyone believes she is, or is she going to become another ruthless Targaryen like the Mad King? And it just brings up a lot of questions, and also brings up a lot of interesting theories. And I'm really looking forward to see where this goes. I thought this week Daenerys was a lot more interesting than last, and that little conversation between her and the noble lord really piqued my interest. And I look forward to see where we're going to head next. But let's get to the main event. The most interesting part of this episode was by far all the events that took part in King's Landing. And there was two scenes that stood out, but we'll get to that in time. Let's start off with a small council meeting. Lord Varys. Since the show began, Lord Varys always struck me as the guy behind the scenes. Like, he stays quietly. He never tries to argue. He just tries to quietly suggest some course of action. But in the small council meeting, Varys was telling them straight how much of a threat Daenerys may be. She has 8,000 Unsullied, 2,000 second sons, 3 dragons, and 2 veteran advisors in Jorah Mormont and Barrister Selmy. And like Cersei and everyone was making jokes, but Varys was very serious, and he was letting them know that they are a threat. And it it was very weird to see Varys acting that way, because usually Varys is a lot quieter, but he seemed a lot more outspoken in this meeting, and I liked it, because he's, at this point, besides Tyrion and that council, he is the only one with sense. Well, I said him and Ogren, but Ogren doesn't talk much. And I'm not sure what his name is, but the Tyrells, the father, Marjorie's father, that guy is just a lapdog for Tywin. He is just spineless. I mean, oh god, I didn't know what to make of him till he came in, but now I'm just like, no, dude, just no. Anyway, yeah, that Lord Varys Small Council meeting was awesome. And speaking of that, that moves on to another, and this is the second best scene for me personally in this episode, and that's when Lord Varys and Oberyn are both talking in front of the Iron Throne by themselves, and it brought up memories of Varys and Littlefinger talking to each other, giving slight remarks, threats to each other, and it was just very weird not to see Littlefinger in there with Varys, but the conversation was interesting. And basically it was Oberyn like, what do you desire? Everyone desires something. And Varys is like, nothing. After I've seen what the Sire has done to this country, I fear it. And Oberyn's like, but what are you going to do without the Sire? And Varys is like, well, without the Sire, it allows someone to pursue other things. And Oberyn's like, such as? And Varys, he just gives a slight nod, look at the chair, and then Oberyn looks, and I'm like, at first, my first instinct was like, Varys, do you want the throne? I was like, is Varys making a play for the throne? Is he like Littlefinger that he's come up with a plan, but he hasn't acted, and he's just being very sneaky about it? And I'm like, if that is true, that is going to be awesome. I was like, Varys, I always thought Varys up some, but I was like, Varys, if you're making a play for that throne, oh god, that's going to be awesome. If that ever happens, it's just going to be an awesome moment to see. And when that scene just, it was by far the most interesting scene of arguably the entire season. Besides finding out that Littlefinger was the guy who started all, Varys now is starting to come into it a bit more. And I'm very interested to see what he makes. Like, does he want the throne, or does he want to help someone get the throne? If he's trying to help someone get the throne, my best bet is going to be Daenerys. I just think that's where it's going to go. If Varys doesn't want the throne, he's going to help Daenerys. I honestly believe that is where Varys' character is going to head. It's one of those two paths. More than likely, I think it'll be helping Daenerys. But then, let's move on. And now, we get to the proper main event. The trial. And by God, this trial did not disappoint. My God, this... It always left me speechless at the end, but before we get there, let's talk at the beginning. First of all, Tywin sitting on the throne was awesome. It was a cool moment to see. Tywin has been like one of my favourite characters since the beginning, and he looks so intimidating on that throne. By far more than Joffrey, Tommen, even Robert Baratheon. He just looked like a menacing force on that throne. Then of course you have Oberyn slouching, chilling out at one chair. Then you got Tywin's lapdog on the other. And as the trial begins, everyone is just making up such bullshit about Tyrion. And, well, I knew that was going to happen. I think we all did. But the amount, they did agree that they went to lie was ridiculous. And Sir Meryn, my God, he is just, someone's got to kill him. I'm saying, he's got to go. Will someone please just kill that, I don't know what to call him. He's just a slime. He's just slime. That's all I can do. He's just a slime. He belongs on the floor. Oh God, I don't know. He's just a slimy bastard. And then of course we have Cersei, who no surprise that she would go against him. But then we had Lord Varys, and I was kind of disappointed, but I liked the little scene where Tyrion asked him the question shortly after. At one point you said that you would all die without me. And do you still remember that? Then Lord Varys was like, unfortunately, Master Tyrion, I remember everything. And that makes me wonder, is Varys going to help him somehow? I'm not sure how that's going to play out yet. Lord Varys just has a lot of interesting moments in this episode. But moving on, when Shay came up and she testified against Tyrion, I was like, if they threatened you, it doesn't matter if they threatened you. It doesn't matter if they paid you, or if it doesn't even matter if you're angry at Tyrion because saying you were just a whore and you meant nothing, but to testify against him and lie to that degree, Say it's just, I don't know. I don't know if there's no redeeming shit. That was just the bitchiest move. That is worse than anything Cersei has done. Yeah, Cersei is an evil bitch, but by fuck, she betrayed Tyrion to a degree where it's just unfathomable, and it's fucking ridiculous. I was like, how can you betray Tyrion like that? I was so pissed. No, I was pissed off as shit. The betrayal was unbelievable. But then Tyrion finally freaked out, and this was by far the best moment in all of season 4, and one of the greatest moments in the entire show by far. And that is when Tyrion just freaks out and says, "I saved you all. I saved you all. I should have let Stannis come and kill every last one of you." And this speech by Tyrion was fucking awesome. I mean, Sarah, this gave me chills down my spine. This speech was fucking great. And Tyrion was like, I didn't kill Joffrey, but it gives me no relief that 1,000 lying whores that he died. And you just see Say's face looking at him as he says it. But Cersei starts moving her chair when Tyrion was like, I'm glad, I wish I killed Joffrey. And you can tell Cersei is pissed, but she's not going to sword. And I was like, yeah, go on Tyrion, finally. Just let the truth fly. Just let it go. And Tywin was just, oh Tywin, I love you, but you're just become, when it involves Tyrion, you just become a bastard. And Tyrion's like, I am guilty of being a dwarf. I've been on trial my entire life. And he was trying to hide it, but Tywin was getting more mad that he was being talked to publicly by his son in front of everyone. And Tyrion is like, I will not find any justice here. I will let the gods decide my fate. I want a trial by combat. And I was like, I knew it was coming, but it was still awesome. And you just see everyone, they're like, and we all know what's going to happen. Mountain is going to be Tywin's. Judging by the preview for next week and the title, Mountain will be Tywin's champion, and Oberyn is going to be Tyrion's champion. And that is going to be awesome. And you can see the stare down between Tyrion and Tywin. It was intense. Tywin, I've never seen Tywin look so pissed in my life. He's just there. And the anger is ready to explode, but Tyrion's not afraid. He is so pissed, and he's just so betrayed, and he just doesn't give a fuck anymore. And the stare down was an awesome way to end the episode. Overall, as you can tell, I've enjoyed this episode, and it was fucking awesome. And I cannot wait for next week. And I really hope Tyrion pulls through. Oh, and I cannot fucking wait. It was a great episode. Tyrion gave an amazing performance. Probably the best performance this season, or maybe the entire show for him. Peter Dinklage showed why he is an Oscar-worthy actor. Yeah, I'm saying Oscar-worthy actor. It's just amazing. Well, I've come to the end of the review. I'd like to thank you all for listening. And if you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe. And I'll talk to you next time.